So what we need to make sure happens first, we have to shore this up. We don't want to lose control, okay? We don't want to lose control. That's point one. Second point, we want something that's easy to handle. Third point, easily duplicable, or we just use it for ourselves. We duplicate it either for others or for ourselves or both. But let's start with the first point. It all comes down to the same thing though, it's this. We need to get a different website. We cannot rely on that replicated URL. You can send people to the replicated URL, but not openly. You can't go from Twitter to the replicated URL. You can't go from Facebook to the replicated URL. Okay? You don't want to go even from your business card to the replicated URL. You want to go to your website, and then your website does all the work of selling people, capturing leads, whatever it is that you want it to do, and deciding whether that should include your phone number, whether people should contact you or the company or what. All of this kind of thing, though, you want to run on your website, okay? And you want the links in your website to lead to the replicated link. The buy now button, if they click it on your website, a buy now button, it goes to whatever it is over there. Your replicated link, probably there's a shortcut to the buy now button. Or learn more here, clicks, and it goes to your replicated link. Okay, whatever it is that makes the most sense. Okay, so once you get your site going, then you have total control. All your backlinks should point at your site, your other links should point at your site, your other links should point at your site, and then from there, it leads people on. Okay, that's important. Now, next point. With that, if the company cuts you off, you can have all those buttons that say learn more, buy now. You can change them to the competitor or the next better program. Okay? Now you might think, doesn't that mean that my website has to be a little more general? And the answer is yeah, because guess what? You still don't want to give up the source, do you? So the source. You might be wanting to say that program is the program that gets us all paid. Acme, make money now. But you don't want to do that, right? You're not trying to say Acme is the place to go. People might just search up Acme, okay? So you don't want to be that clear. You want to talk about the program, the purpose, the gains, the whatever it is, in a general purpose way. And then just the buttons lead them to learn more, to get more, to sign up for your email system so that your email sends off the information about them, okay? And that way, if the company ever cuts you out, because they think they can make more that way, all that traffic that's coming to your site, all those people that are filling out your contact forms, now you were just going to make some simple changes in the page to send people over there. And then you can make changes through the paragraphs easily, or pay us to, we can do that, to now pitch the new program instead of continuing to pitch the old program. If it's general purpose content that's talking about making money the easy way, that's going to tend to apply to this guy too. There are a lot of competitors doing very similar things. It's not going to be hard to rewrite through the contents, but you're still getting people to your site, your pages. They fill out your contact form to learn more. Okay? So if you get the point of that, that can be set up. And not only can that be set up, but what if you offer your downline a version of that for them? Okay? We can talk more about how those websites work and what can be included with them. But first, I just want to make sure you understand the concept that never lead people straight over there. I'll tell you a story. I had a guy once get a hold of me, and he was going on and on about how he knew all the big names in the affiliate industry, MLM program owners. And he was an older guy, and he'd been with them for like 20, 30 years, many of these guys. He knows them all. He can help me get introduced to all these guys. Okay. It was like, awesome, man. I can't wait to get to that point. And he said, I want to buy this program from you. It was like a $3,500 thing we were offering at the time. And he's like, I want that $3,500 thing. He's like, but really, how's this? I just give you, the names of these guys and their contact numbers. I'm like, well, okay, now. Oh, that's what it was. I'm trying to remember now. It's this. He's like, well, I don't quite have that right now. how about if we could go a little smoother? I can have something else. And I'm like, well, okay, how's this? Instead of getting the whole program, then how about you get the first phase of it? And I dropped it. It was like, okay, so maybe $1,000 or so. And it was like, well, I don't have that right now. That's right. That's this guy. I've got too many stories. Because I've been around for a while too. I was just talking about 2006, what we did with a group of people, and that's 15 years ago. So anyway, then he said, well, I don't really have that right now. It's okay, how about this? Low as I could go, like $350. He's like, well, I don't have that right now. And I was starting to think, wait a minute, that can't be possible. How do you not have 350? The guy's an affiliate guy. He's openly able to call and talk to me and everything else. He's a sales guy of sorts. He knows all these guys. He wants the thing. How does he not have 350? But he doesn't. And I said, okay, happens to the best of us. We all get stuck there, for sure. I've been there. You're in between programs or whatever. You're kind of tight on cash. You got to watch what you're doing. Okay, fine. I said, but you've been in the affiliate game how long? He's like 30 years. I'm like, great. I said, so you have some massive downline, right? You've got all these guys on your list, your newsletter, right? How about you introduce me and we'll pitch this thing through your newsletter? And the guy said, oh, I don't have a list. And I said, what? Come again? He said, I don't have a list. And I'm like, wait. You don't have any money and you don't have a list, but you've been in the affiliate game for 30 years and you know all the top guys, or many of them. And he's like, well, yeah, they like me. And it was like, because every time I talk to people, I point them out. And so the guy would run over to them. I'd point out this guy, he'd run over there. I'm like, okay, so you're giving all these guys away. You've been doing it for 30 years. So they all like you. In other words, they're chummy with you when you call them on the phone because you're just giving them free guys. He never collected his own email list. He handed guys away for 30 years. Keeping the contacts of people who are interested in certain things means you know who has that kind of a mindset, okay? Every time you hear from anyone, you know you should really talk to Joe. You should really talk to Gary. You should really talk to Tom. Why? Joe is interested in the MLM programs. Gary does venture capitalism. Tom does real estate, and he works with realtors. It's like, oh, they're nothing alike, unless I have something for each of them, right? No one's like each other. When you pitch widely, you've got like a 1% chance of hitting somebody who has at least two things going. One, they're in the mood to listen to what you have to say, and they have the money to take it on at the same time. You can be in the mood but not have the money. Float away, right? Or you can have the money, message doesn't make any sense, forget about that. Right? But figuring out what people react to and at what scale, what they do, right? That matters. This guy gave up an email list for 30 years. So he had neither money nor an email list. And that felt like a tragedy. It's like all that time passed and he didn't have a list. That felt like a tragedy. Never get stuck in a situation like that. Today, I have guys in my program now, a number, guys who have my software, guys who take part of our services and the different things that we do, who've been around since 2004 for me. That's 17 years. There are guys today who spend money on things I have today, who spent their first money on anything I had for them in 2004. Now, for all you guys who think, well, you don't need a list, you just make sales, the answer is no. I mean, you can do that, but if you take on a list, then you can add another zero to the end of your income every year. Think about it. It's the difference between making $10,000 a year and $100,000 a year. If you keep adding more of a list, it goes from $100,000 a year to $200,000 a year. Why? Because those guys trigger on the stuff that you're offering because it's interesting to them. No one's tricking anyone. They're interested in that stuff and things like it. I can tell you by name a bunch of the people in my group and the kinds of things that they would be interested in, the kinds of things they wouldn't be interested in. I can even tell you why. It's because I happen to know many of them from a lot of conversations because I talk live myself to my guys, right? So all I want to say is this: create the website of your own and get your own list built from it, and then you can offer all those guys the next thing. If the first guys gyp you, if they gyp you, And you can mass blast to your group. Hey, guess what? That company gypped me. That means they'll gyp you next. You know why they gypped me? Not because I broke any rules, but because I started making so much money. They realized that they were paying me so much that all they had to do was, if they cut me off, they could probably keep all that goodwill that's out there and all the social forums and stuff. Little did they know that I didn't just post the replicated link. I created my own site, and I've got all the people still coming every day to my site now. But instead of the buttons pointing at them, buttons are going to point at them. If you stay in my group, I'm going to make sure that we all move together into the next thing and keep going. Those guys promise not to cheat. They are excited to take us on. Okay? So have your own site. Okay? And capture your own emails. Whether you contact them today, tomorrow, or next year. Capture those emails. All right, we'll keep talking, but there you go. That's starter of where we're headed here. Because now you're not going to wind up doing any work. All of this thing is going to work for you. And your deadline, their deadline, their deadline, their deadline. It's going to be really easy. Everyone's capturing leads. All this stuff is going to magnify really, really fast. And that's the whole thing I wanted to get you to, was having a plan, maintaining control, making it easy for everyone else, and being able to move forward with it, and then clone that whole system over and over again. 2021, got to be lean and mean to survive. That's why you're listening to these topics, because this is that way to go. Okay, get you to the next topic.